And I am with Applied Software. Welcome to our webinar today, BIM and Facilities Management, a primer for higher educational institutions. We appreciate your time here, and this is a great opportunity for you to ask questions. My colleague David Moore is on the line with me, and he will be checking the questions box for your questions and be responding to them. And Dave, as we said, go ahead and interrupt me if something comes up. And I will stay on the line at the end of the session for additional questions. So welcome, and here we go. A little bit about Applied Software. We are an Autodesk authorized education partner. We were founded in 1982, and our application specialists are just like you, architects, professional engineers, project managers, and designers. And so that means that your training, mentoring, and consulting services are based on real-world scenarios that you experience daily. As an authorized Autodesk training center, we offer a broad range of classes from introductory to mastery level instruction, and Platinum Partners provide their customers with best-in-class full solutions from pre- and post-sales support, consulting, training, implementation, and customization. In this session, we will explain the paradigm shifts, the overall changes in the industry, and some terminology. We'll talk about productivity acceleration, and we'll take a brief moment and speak about some licensing changes that are happening at Autodesk. So today I ask you to think about where your processes and workflows are when it comes to construction projects on your campuses. Many of you have done things a certain way for many years, but it's in the nature of education to challenge the status quo and jump in with an open mind into new operational mindsets. So a quick 101, in case you're unfamiliar with the term, building information modeling. What is BIM? It's about the I in BIM, the information. We're going to talk some more about this during the presentation. So building information modeling is an intelligent 3D model-based process, and it provides insight for creating and managing projects faster, more economically, and with less environmental impact. Sounds great, right? So on the left-hand side, you'll see what BIM is not. BIM is not 3D. BIM is not data. BIM is not data and 3D, and BIM is not software. BIM is a process, and Autodesk provides the tools. Solve the problems. So thinking about your departments, you've got construction management, cost management, capital planning and space management, and facilities management. These next couple slides, we're going to talk about BIM adoption in North America. I have to tell you that this research is a little old. It's from 2012, so it's probably even bigger now. But as you can see, this picture of the United States, you can see the comparison of how BIM has grown between 2009 and 2012. BIM adoption, for example, on the West Coast has increased from 70 to 77% from 56%. Lots of care work in the West, and that's one of the reasons healthcare is one of the biggest areas of growth. And we're going to talk more about BIM benefits, but just to wet your whistle a little bit. Collaboration, spatial coordination, MEP prefabrication, constructability reviews, and visualizations are some of the benefits. And then again, this information is from 2012, so it's a little bit dated, and we're looking for this new report to come out this year, so we'll be able to update this. But just to give you an idea of where BIM is and how it has grown from 2009. And you can see on the left side, you see the architects, the engineers, and the contractors. Not surprisingly, the contractors have grabbed it the quickest, but architects and engineers are right on their heels. And then on the right-hand side, you see the firm size. So 91% of firms in 2012 were doing some sort of BIM, and the smaller firms are just as equally growing at an equally steady pace. So in facilities management, as we talked about, BIM is a process, and Autodesk provides the authoring tools. And it's important to note that facilities managers do not need to be experts in CAD or 3D modeling, and it's about collaboration. BIM is about managing the FM data and virtual construction. And BIM is not about more work, it's about smarter working. All types of projects, from housing to hospitals, from residence halls to renovations, BIM is incredibly useful. And project size does not matter. BIM will become the standard if it isn't already at your campus, and it will be growing further and further as time goes by. So it's good to grasp this on the early side. BIM allows facilities management to focus on post-occupancy activities. So facilities management will need to support the collection, interpretation, and analysis of the data. And facilities departments are going to need new skills to engage with BIM and need greater efforts on the front end of project development. So we're going to get into a little bit more about what we talked about generally what is BIM and that it's this process, but specifically, what does it do? And we're going to identify them in two different categories: project uses and operational uses. So on the left-hand side, and we had this list back here, it was kind of a bungled bunch of lists of words, and then I put them all on a list on this page. And what I want you to think about, I want you to focus in on this slide, is that little man with the red line running through him. He is the gatekeeper and the project information repository. He's the person. And he's getting that information from the AEC project info, and they're bringing all of this data into the owner's house. So, and then at the top where you see the business processes, that's going to be your managers, and those are going to be the people that are driving the BIM process. And on the right, down at the bottom, you see the project management team, and they're the ones that are going to be utilizing this information. So it kind of gives you some ideas of how to organize your thinking about BIM and categorizing these BIM uses and how they will most be functional at your campus. Okay, I got a later Smart Market report, one in 2014, and I wanted to talk about the business value of BIM to owners. And I wanted to also compare the United States with the United Kingdom. Now, in the UK, there is a BIM mandate for from the government, and so there has been a lot of impetus from a lot of different levels of firms, people participating in it. So what I want to point out to you is this owner's BIM requirement. So obviously in the UK, owners are requiring it at a greater clip. In the United States, we're encouraging it at a greater clip. And so you can just sort of see the mindset that's what's happening in the US right now. And then, and it's real. I thought this was a really interesting chart. When you compare the United States owners with the UK owners, what is it that they find are the true benefits of BIM? And I'm just going to go through these and kind of point out to you some differences. So the BIM visualization enables a better understanding of the proposed design. 98% of UK owners say that that is a key part of BIM. There are fewer problems during construction related to design errors, coordination, or construction errors. And BIM analysis and simulation capabilities produce a more well-reasoned design. This is very strong also in the UK. And the use of BIM generates a beneficial impact on project schedules. So yes, it gets projects done on time. And then the use of BIM generates a beneficial impact on the control of construction costs. Now, it was interesting that this number, 72% in the UK, was a little bit lower. I think that's probably because it does take somewhat of an investment to get into this. And we're going to talk about those areas of investment a little later in the presentation. The BIM Smart Market report, which you can look up on Google, it's pretty easy to find, it talked about some of the recommendations that they have for BIM. And their recommendations were to embrace BIM. It's worth the effort. Some ways of thinking about this is to identify your organization's BIM goals. And BIM planning is the key, regardless of the delivery method. Whether you're working on design build projects, construction management, risk, projects, any kind of delivery, BIM can play an important role. When you're participating in a BIM project, you want to measure progress, you want to insist on accountability, and you want to remain open to process innovation. Evidence shows that staying committed to BIM increases the benefits. So starting a project, finishing a project, starting the next project in BIM is really where the proficiencies begin. And so as we're talking about facilities management, talk about exploring BIM into your facilities management departments by leveraging the BIM data that after construction to ensure timely data transfer for construction firms. So as the projects are getting finished, an important piece of the puzzle is to bring that data in. And many of you have facilities management software, and talk to your software people for facilities management and talk to them about how you would like to do BIM on the facilities management side. And there's almost all of the titles these days have some BIM aspects to them to utilize the data when a new or renovated building comes online. So oftentimes I'm talking to our customers about where to get started on BIM, and it's hard, but I'm going to give you some tips here today. So you want to start from the ground up. You want to start with your basic things that your departments are doing. Focus on those tasks. And you want to focus on providing digital solutions to traditional processes. So look everywhere where there are spreadsheets or checklists or paper forms. So you want to try to look at these under the BIM microscope and see if there's a digital solution for it. You want to develop new ways to solve old problems. So when you know of something, some sort of task that happens that is stumping everybody, try to develop some new ways to solve the old problems. And a lot of times you're going to need some new tools. And so some of the experiences that we've had here at Applied Software on BIM in the owner's realm, and see, these are some of the titles of folks that participate in the BIM process. So your IT staff, your chief information officers, your data architects, CAD and BIM managers, virtual design and construction directors, and chief technology officers. These are some of the people that can help you participate in building up this BIM puzzle. Now, BIM has been around for a pretty long time now, but it's really starting to take hold, and so there's probably some preconceived notions out there. So you want to address them. The delayed promise that it would change the industry. I think that original map of the United States shows that, it might not seem like it's happening, but it has happened in a great majority of firms, and more every day. One of the things you want to do is communicate your BIM intentions with your entire community. So all of the people that have a stake, the different departments, the end users, the architects, the contractors, the subcontractors, you want to communicate what you're intending to do with them. You want to deal with lack of proper training of your team. You want to prevent information from being pushed into silos. This is something we see, a common pitfall we see. People have a hard time sharing their data. You want to explore, and I mentioned this earlier, you want to explore your automation of existing processes, and you want to eliminate redundant software. And this is adapted again from the BIM Smart Market Report in 2014, is how to derive value from your BIM consultants. So if you're thinking about going down this route and you're exploring BIM consultants, you want to ask these questions. Do they know all of their BIM perspectives? Do they understand design, contractors, and owners? You want to study their BIM execution plans, and you want to check for milestones and budgetary pricing. You want to have a clear picture about what they're proposing. You want to make sure that they understand project delivery, contracts, liability, business procedures, and most importantly, you want to make sure they understand your culture. Every office, every owner, every place is different, and you want to be sure that they're working with that. Your consultant should provide you with implementation guidance, training, videos, and follow-up for internal use in project teams. You want to make sure that they have the software skills and they deliver intended results, and be sure to set up an end-user review of the deliverables to ensure the quality. And seek consultants who understand industry workflows and can help automate processes rather than bill a lot of hours. We've seen that a little bit. So now let's think about how we're going to get there. We'll talk about some steps to get started or to expand your BIM proficiency. Find a champion within your organization. commit effort from IT to administration to explore BIM. This is a terrific idea. Hold a BIM charrette for the wider campus community to expand the conversation and gain buy-in. Review facilities management needs, especially in regards to new construction. Get involved earlier in the process. Talk to the folks that are conceptually designing your projects. Make sure that you understand what they're doing and how that will be able for you to manage after the project is delivered. And again, utilize an array of talent here at Applied Software to streamline your planning and execution of new buildings, renovations, and space planning. We've got some proven methodologies with educational institutions, and let's discuss our work with Georgia Tech, University of Central Florida, and others. And finally, you want to analyze your technology infrastructure for BIM. You want to focus on what tools you will need to support BIM, software, hardware, network, and physical workspaces. It's a great segue to talk about a little bit more about the software side of it and the Autodesk side. Many of you are familiar with the company Autodesk because you've had educational licenses in your facilities management department. And this has changed. Autodesk's entire portfolio of design and engineering products are now free for academic use. It is no longer free for other uses, including facilities management, housing, physical plant, transportation, and some research. If an Autodesk license is being used by a teacher or a student for academic purposes, that use is eligible for free Autodesk licenses. We always have some people on these calls that that applies to, and I've put the website there, autodesk.com/education, to access your free software. And feel free to ping me if you've got any problems. I can help you with that. So here's a little bit more about how Applied Software can help you get there. As I said earlier, we have a proven process that will help you economize your purchase and leverage our team of experts to grow your BIM proficiency from the ground up. We'll provide you with best pricing using our Autodesk Platinum Partner buying power and GSA schedules. We will support your IT teams with free assistance throughout the installation procedure. And Applied Software is part of a unique Autodesk program to help our customers analyze and evaluate their Autodesk software usage across numerous workstations. And I have a special guest on the line, Chris Munson from Autodesk, and he's going to talk a little bit about this on the next slide. As part of your service, Applied Software will produce a cost of ownership analysis for all of your options so you can make the best choice. And you can expect world-class customer service and care throughout the process. Your dedicated educational team will be there every step of the way. So part of our process is discovery. How is your staff using Autodesk software today? How do they wish they were using it? What skills do they have? And what you're looking at here on the screen is a snapshot of survey results that we did with school. And basically, we discovered what products they're using, the percentage of time that they're using it, and what product that they would need to purchase to make that usage make sense. Next slide is Chris. Chris, you're on the line, yes?
I am on the line, Linda.
All right, so here we go. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for participating. Here we go.
So, well, thank you, everybody, for joining the call. Linda, thank you for the great explanation around BIM. Yes, there have been some changes in the software that Autodesk provides to educational institutions. Again, it's free for your teachers and your students. However, when it comes to using Autodesk software for your facilities management and facilities maintenance, you do need to be looking into getting commercial licenses for those types of end users. We have created a software asset management program here, and Applied Software is one of our premier SAM partners that help our customers go through the process to help them confirm the software that's in their environment, ensuring that they do have the right licenses for their environment and applications, and ensuring that there is not a compliance issue out there that could be putting the educational institution at risk. Basically, what the SAM process is making sure that the employees that have within your organization have the right software tools to be productive in their day-to-day operations. We also want to help you guys be able to reduce the strain on the IT resources within your organization, within the schools, by having some automated tools to help you track the software, as well as access to manuals and reference materials, so that when you're trying to institute a SAM best practice, that you manage these resources the most effectively. Okay? So some of the things that improved software purchase planning and license management brings to the table is we really do help you guys try in this process, in this SAM process, to try to find the best software to put in your facilities use groups, and we basically allow you to try to find those end users that are going to need the software the most. There is an inventory tool that Autodesk provides in the process. It's free for you to utilize. It's called the Autodesk Inventory Advisor, that allows you to actually identify what's truly installed on those end users' machines. Okay, and one great thing about this is you could do a year on, biannually or an annual tally, and you always know which software license which is in use and on which PC it's being used on. So a lot of good information there comes from the SAM process. Reducing risk, very, very important. You want to make sure that you know what software you have for those end users that need those commercial licenses, and being in kind of a very unique situation where you do have access through the university or through the schools, free software, you want to make sure that free software does not end up on the wrong PCs for facilities use, and making sure that you have the right software there. Again, the SAM process through Applied will help you do that. Okay. Also, unexpected software costs. You want to make sure that you're buying the right software, the right deployment methods for those end users. And there is a concern always of risk. If there is a compliance issue in the future or in the environment, you want to make sure you mitigate that. And what we see mostly in the education space is that, again, we see educational licenses, specifically being the free software, being used for the facilities use, which puts the organization at risk. So again, SAM ensures that you have only the licensed software that you need for facilities, what's entitled to you, and then also with regards to supporting the use of the software as well. These are items that Applied Software can definitely help you on, as well as Autodesk through the SAM process. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris. And please let us know if you've got any questions about the SAM program. All right, moving on. Quickly, I would like to talk about Autodesk's upcoming business model change. And so this is giving you options right now, and your options are going to change as this year comes to an end and next year begins. So Autodesk is moving away from the classic way of buying software, which is a perpetual license, and towards the pay-as-you-go desktop subscription model. Now, if you've already got contracts, this is only going to affect how new seats are purchased, and that's important. And some perpetual product, and what's really important here is that the dates have been set and moved up. So some perpetual products are being discontinued in January of 2016. And on the education side, our top seller suite products can be licensed on a perpetual mode only until July 31st, 2016. So you've got some time to figure this out, and right now you've got options. If you've got existing perpetual contracts on maintenance subscription, they will be renewed when the time comes. And our recommendation for navigating these changes. For higher education, we are recommending purchasing additional perpetual suites for as long as you can to head off pricing increases. We're going to talk about a little bit more about that. So this is the pay-as-you-go desktop subscription model, and this is to give you some ideas about why this is a good idea. So with the desktop subscription model, first of all, you have a lower cost of entry. The prices are cheaper to start. It allows you to easily ramp up and scale down. So as your department needs changes, your staff changes, you can get rid of software you don't need. You're always going to be on the current version, so you'll have access to the latest tools, and you'll be able to reduce risk with the desktop subscription because you have more control over how many licenses you have. So there's some advantages. Buy and pay for only what you need and get rid of licenses you don't need. There are multi-year contracts available. Actively monitoring your license use through the SAM program and through manual monitoring can ultimately be a savings. And it moves Autodesk into an operating expense rather than a capital expense because it has a lower cost of entry. And so that's something that a couple of our university clients are now billing those to specific projects. So that's definitely an advantage. There are some disadvantages right now, and that is for steady business outlook. For example, your department has been 4CAD users for the last 10 years, probably will be for the next 10 years. The desktop subscription does have overall higher long-term pricing per license. There is also no network activation at this time, and this is really a big killing point for our educational institutions. Right now there's restricted previous version access and the named users must be managed. So there's no way of sharing it. So if you've got somebody who needs a license a couple of times a week, they have to have their own desktop subscription license. And so that's the networking part. And you must manage those licenses. So that's some IT departments find that difficult. So back to the perpetual model real quick. As an incentive for Autodesk to move customers to the pay-as-you-go model, Autodesk will be raising prices of annual maintenance subscription. So if you have a perpetual contract right now, your maintenance subscription is probably going to go up. Past history is that renewals have gone up 5% every year. If you choose to go with perpetual while it is still available, we recommend consideration of a 3-year subscription contract to head off these price increases. That's just smart. So with both the desktop subscription and the maintenance subscription, right now you have a choice. I wanted to talk about the benefits and how that might help your department in implementing them. First of all, you have immediate access to automatic upgrades, lower upgrade costs to advanced products. So if you're on a lower value product and you want to get to a better one, you can utilize that investment. And you're ready for anything that the project throws at you. You'll have predictable budgeting. You'll know what's going to be your bill right from the get-go. You're going to have some flexible licensing rights, previous version access, home use rights, and extended territory rights. And one of the really neat things about Autodesk subscription, and they're always adding things to this list, but this is just an overview. You're going to get 25 gigabytes of cloud storage. You're going to get energy analysis, structural analysis, cloud rendering, remote access, and you're going to have the A360 line of project management tools. And those all come as a part of your Autodesk subscription. Now, drilling down a little bit further, what is it that our educational institutions typically look at buying? They look at mainly 2 products, the Building Design Suite products and the Infrastructure Design Suite products. So don't get crazy and try to write down all this information. Focus in on the red lettering. So on the left-hand side, the lowest cost, the Building Design Suite standard, has your typical AutoCAD. In the middle, you've got something that has AutoCAD plus Revit. In that case, in the Building Design Suite Premium, it also has 3ds Max, 2 high-value products in the Premium version. And in the Ultimate version, it has AutoCAD, 3ds Max, Revit, and Navisworks Manage for those of you who are doing sophisticated clash detection and project scheduling in your offices. And on the planning side, for your civil teams, these are your transportation teams, they're going to be looking at the Infrastructure Design Suite for site planning and other kinds of work outside the doors of the buildings. And again, focus in on those red letters, AutoCAD, Civil 3D, and Navisworks Manage, just so you can get an idea of where the products are going. And finally, I wanted to thank my DLT counterparts for being on the call today. I know you're here, and I wanted to thank you for our partnership. They are the master government reseller with Autodesk partnership in the public sector since 1996. State-funded and partially state-funded schools qualify for discounted government pricing through DLT solutions with Applied Software as the technical reseller. There are multiple government contract vehicles available. And DLT has an education-focused representative working closely with the Applied Software team. And Donald, thank you for all of your help in working with DLT, and we appreciate that time. That is the end of my presentation today. And Dave, are there any questions?
Hey, Linda, there was no questions at this time. I didn't pop up here.
Excellent, excellent. Well, thank you very much for your time. I hope you enjoyed the presentation today. I've got my contact numbers up there for myself and for David, and please give us a call if you've got any questions. Todd, I think that's a wrap, and thank you very much for participating today.